Hey everyone, Tanner, the Obsessed Car Detailer here, finally back to give you some Corvette content. I do apologize, this video is months late, as I'm sure some of you have come across rebuilding your own vehicles and doing stuff. Things just don't go as planned sometimes. A few of the major holdbacks were obviously I was waiting on some parts. Just a few little tiny things were not going right. It is my busy season at work. I wanted to get this done way sooner. All right, so the orange jumpsuit means that, we're probably doing something kind of dirty. And what's kind of dirty? Probably my Corvette that is full of mouse, piss, and shit. So let's get into it. Alright, so if you didn't catch the first video, where we got my Corvette completely all torn apart, started to do a little bit of cleaning on it. We vacuumed it out briefly. But yeah, we pretty much haven't done anything else. And that's gonna be my job today. So as you can see, in everywhere is just filthy. And there's still some remnants of mouse droppings and stuff here, there, and everywhere. And the whole chassis has urine kind of soaked into it. So backing up, we got a bottle of enzyme cleaner. So if you don't know what this stuff is, do some Googling, but it works fantastic. The stuff is very expensive. It's about $120 for a bottle. I'll probably end up using most of it, honestly, on the chassis of this car. It's something you dilute, so it's not just straight. You put some water in and mix it, so that bottle can go a long way. But we do have a lot of cleaning to do in here. Got a lot of cleaning to do on the outside too, but there's a lot that's gonna have to happen before we even get to that. So I've gone ahead and I started to clean up here. Got it looking all right, but down in there is still pretty gross. And you can already see a little bit of rust starting just from the moisture that was dripping down in the back. All those little water spots, that's all urine and grossness that we got to clean. Same with all this old dust and dirt. I'll probably get a wire wheel in here and wire wheel a little bit of that rust off and give it some fresh black paint. I'm gonna go ahead, do a Dynamat down on the whole chassis of the car, kind of help with a little bit of sound deadening. And we got a few other surprises that we're going to be doing, upgrades kind of while we're in there, things that we're going to do while the car is all apart. But most importantly, before we do any of that, before we can put any new parts in this, we got to get to cleaning. So currently right now, I'm going around all these wires and taking off this old nasty coating. It's just got a bunch of stickiness all over it, and like the foam's just all disintegrating. So yeah, I'm gonna get all these connectors taped up so no water can get in, and then we can start cleaning. All right, coming back in, we've got all the connectors sealed up with some work gloves and electrical tape. Stripped off all that old nasty stuff. That took a lot longer than I expected it to. It was absolutely disintegrated. So anytime you touched it, it just kind of fell apart in your hand. But looks a lot better. Everything's making a lot more sense. Get everything organized. Back here, everything just needs a good cleaning. Same with up here. Once everything's all cleaned, I'm gonna go over things like these metal panels that have a little bit of surface rust. We'll clean those up, put some POR 15. I'm just gonna go with the roll-on application, I think, so that way I don't have to worry about any overspray onto the exterior of the car. Like again, like little spots like that, we'll clean that up at the same time. The whole chassis will get cleaned with an enzyme cleaner. Then we'll go over it with a degreaser, then a neutralizer. Might even do it a couple of times just to make sure we get everything. But yeah, so I'm pretty much ready to dig into that. I just have to hang up that one box and we'll get started on it. All right, so what is another day for me is probably the same day for you. We are back working on the Corvette. I had it sit for a couple of days with the ozone machine on. I had put the top back on, covered up the windows, closed everything up. And after that enzyme cleaning and a couple of days on the ozone machine, the car is pretty much smelling like absolutely nothing. You still get a little hint of that ozone smell, but it is 1,000 times better than what we started with. So I'm gonna go ahead, lightly scuff everything that I'm gonna be putting a little bit of that rust paint on. We just got a little bit of corrosion. Areas like that, and up there a little bit. Just normal wear and tear things you'd expect on a car. Same with up there, I had a little bit of degreaser drip down, so I'm gonna scuff that up. And we'll paint that one little section of that pan. But yeah, I'm sure there's tons of videos of people painting things on YouTube, and I'm just doing it with a brush. It's nothing fancy, so don't really need to show you that, but we'll bring you back and show you what it looks like when it's done. All right, and just like that, with a little bit of YouTube magic, we've got some paint down on everything. I did not paint the e-brake mechanism just because didn't really feel like getting that all gummed up with paint. But I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I could probably go ahead and put a second coat on it, but I think I put it on thick enough and one coat is probably fine. Now, over here, while I'm waiting for paint to dry, I'm starting to pull out pieces of the car to get ready to put things back together. Everything that came out of the car kind of has a smell to it, was peed on, pooped on, whatever. So I'm going to be going over that with my enzyme cleaner, some degreaser, and I also bought a steamer that was on sale, and I didn't expect it to work nearly as good as it does, but this little thing works fantastic. All right, so not really easy to use the steamer one-handed. A little bit of tape helping us out there. So I'll probably start doing a little bit of this off camera. And like I said, I'm not gonna show you hours and hours of cleaning. You guys pretty much get the gist of how that goes. But yeah, just a nice mix with some high heat, and that bioenzymic cleaner is gonna make everything look and smell a lot better. So let me give it the I think that passes the smell test. So once I get something to pass the smell test, we'll bring it over, dry it off, and we will set it on the clean part shelf. So give me a little bit of time, and let's see if we can fill this shelf up with what we're keeping out of this pile. All right, so now that the masking tape is off, I can really get the full effect. And was that ever worth it? That looks so much better. And like I said, just having the smell of fresh paint is making a huge difference in the overall vibe of this thing. But look at that. Doesn't that look so much better? All right, so now that that sound deadener is installed, I didn't have enough to do actually the back portion of the car, so I'm probably gonna go online, order some more of that and get that done after. But you can see I've got the front cabin, and that's probably the most important part to have done in my opinion. Drop a comment below on how I'm probably wrong about that. But it looks fantastic, really happy that's in there. And now that we've got some insulation in the cabin and it's gonna sound a lot better going down the road, we're gonna focus on the next part of the sound, and that is the audio. So I picked myself up one of these CarPlay Toto, I don't know how you pronounce that. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Somebody I watch on YouTube, Watch JR Go, he has put multiple of those in his vehicles, and he is extremely, extremely smart in my opinion. I think he's very good with technology, and I trust his opinion. So that's why I went with that unit. We've got some Kenwood Excelon speakers, and we have a backup camera because that is very important. Because believe it or not, these are actually pretty hard to back up. I always end up backing up and leaving way more room than needed because I don't want to back up into something And I'm always driving different cars, so it's kind of hard to get comfortable in one certain car. So a backup camera is definitely something you end up getting used to and you do miss when you don't have it. So we're gonna go ahead, put one of those in. I do have another set of Kenwood speakers. They are at the audio shop because, as you can see over here, I have removed off camera all of this Bose stuff that was in here. Now I'm gonna reuse the actual Bose, I'd say speaker box, I guess is the proper term for that. Got rid of all of the old stuff that's in there. I'm getting an actual custom mount made for the new speaker, so it mounts in that Bose speaker box, and it'll all just kind of go back in like nothing ever happened. So those speakers are actually at the audio shop, like I said. The speakers I have over on the shelf will be the ones that I am installing in the back. I am just doing a very simple audio install on this for now. Later on down the road, I'll probably end up going with another subwoofer. They make a pretty cool sub box that fits in that little recess right there. And it's only $300, and I've got tons of extra audio stuff kicking around. So I'll probably end up piecing that together, but that'll be a future video way down the road. Right now, we're focusing on getting those speakers in, getting new speaker wire ran to all those speakers, because whatever they had done before, let me tell you, is an absolute nightmare. So we're gonna start fresh, get rid of everything, rewire that all in properly. My friend over at the audio shop gave me some really good high-end speaker wire. So we're gonna go put that all in. I've got all the proper connectors to use. So we're gonna do this as proper as I possibly can, because, well, we're trying to do this car right. And there's no better time to do it than when everything all is apart. So again, I'm not gonna show you this all on camera. It's gonna be pretty boring. I'm gonna get all that stuff ran, and we'll bring you back here on camera when I get all that stuff installed. Now, I'm not gonna even be able to test it out for a while, so I'm not gonna know if the work I'm doing here today is even going to be good, because I have so much of this car taken apart that if I were to turn the key, the fuel injectors would shoot. Now, I know I could probably pull a fuse or something, but I am too lazy to do that. We're just gonna get this done, and in another day or two, I think actually tomorrow night, we're gonna start putting everything back together on this car. And the only thing I am waiting on are my new seats. And you haven't seen them yet because I don't have them yet. I cannot wait to show you them, and you will see those in this video at some point. But right now, at the point of me filming, I don't actually have those seats here. Let me bring you over to my Corvette room and show you what I've got going on for parts. All right, and we'll bring you inside what I call my Corvette room. And this is where I have all of the parts scattered amongst for the Corvette. So we've got some new backing for all my carpet. I don't know if you want to call it insulation or what, but so this is all going to come off, and we'll replace that. These are the original carpets. I did order new carpets, but I'm not happy with the quality of them, so I just did a deep clean on the original carpets, and now they smell fantastic. They look brand new, and there's no reason why I wouldn't reuse those. Again, I'm not going to be reusing those seats. They have some holes in them and stuff, like you will see in the previous videos. So I'm not going to reuse those. I'll probably end up selling those. They're still good seats. You could still use them, but I bought new ones, so we're not going to use those. That is the dash pad for the car. That's ready to go back in. I've got all the carpets, plastics, everything. If it wasn't in good shape, I either replaced it or I refinished it by re-dyeing it and everything like that. So everything looks absolutely fantastic, brand new, ready to go back in. I'm still waiting on my new stereo surround from Amazon to come in. And I don't even know if that's going to be a good quality one, so I might have to go ahead and order another one of those off VETTE if I'm not happy with the Amazon one, but we will see. I've got new top seals I have to install. These are all nuts and bolts for different places, again, like the cluster. We've got a new power steering pump and pulley because that was needed. I've got some visors for the car. Those are brand new. Very important weather techs because I park on a lot of dirt driveways, and getting in and out of the car makes a mess. That's going to definitely be a savior. So again, we have a lot of parts to put back in here, but it's fairly organized. Everything's been cleaned, completely sanitized, and ready to go back in the car. So I'm going to stop babbling, and I'm going to get to work running that audio wire. It would be a shame to drill a hole in your Corvette and not videotape it, right? Does not take much to drill a hole in a Corvette. All right, I'm sure as you can tell by the change of clothes randomly throughout this video, I have been filming this throughout the span of a couple of days. I'm trying not to rush it, just trying to pick away at things and actually make it enjoyable, but the weather's really nice outside and I'm really getting that itch, and my seats are probably going to be here next week, so as soon as those come in, I know that's the last thing holding me back from driving this car. So I really want to get this together. So I'm back in here today, working on getting the HVAC box back in. The mice did chew a couple of these vac lines, so we went ahead and repaired those. Getting ready to put that back in the car. One project I want to get on, though, today is cleaning this up. So I've got to go in here with some brake clean and kind of loosen up all that gunk, scrub that all up, plug all these holes out with something better than loose leaf. Then we're going to go ahead, pull the valve covers off. I'm going to clean those up, give them a quick coat of paint. That way this just kind of looks a little bit better before we throw it all together. Someday in the future, I will go ahead and do some more stuff to this engine bay and make it a lot more nice looking, but also have to do the power steering pump, get in there today. So I think we have to remove the alternator for that and the reservoir for the power steering pump as well, and probably a few other goodies. So before we get tearing into that and opening anything up any further, I'm going to plug all this stuff up, clean this up. I'll bring you back, show you what that looks like all cleaned up. And then again, I'm going to pull the valve covers, clean those up, and throw some paint on those. All right, I figured I'd take a second and show you. I've got that valve cover all cleaned up. That's what it looked like before. Super satisfying. I went here and I've got the valley pretty much good enough. Like I said, I'm not doing any show car engine bay or anything. We're just doing a decent cleanup while we're in here. So that definitely will be good enough for me for now. Now I'm gonna go ahead and get that last valve cover cleaned up. Go ahead and get a coat of black paint on them. And then we can throw all that stuff back in the car and start actually getting this thing back together. All right, we gave the valve covers the old rattle can treatment after they were all cleaned. And now I'm also moving on to tearing out the old weather stripping for the target top. That stuff looked like a beaver chewed it. And now that that's off, I can go ahead and clean all that up. Go ahead and install that, and the same with the actual target top itself. We've got new weather stripping for that. So hopefully when there's some heavy rain, it doesn't rain inside my car anymore. All right. I am not gonna lie, guys. I am getting beyond frustrated putting this thing back together. Just been waiting on parts for way too long, mainly the seats. And it's been so long since I put this, since I've taken it apart. I don't really remember how anything goes back together, and I didn't really do all of it. I had my buddy come in and help me. So it's like, you know, we're all just kind of, our memories aren't all there. No fault on anybody, but yeah, so just about to start this up earlier. Had everything back together. I even recorded a little like, oh yeah, just about to start this anyway. Went to go put the cluster in and realized, yeah, the dash is in. The cluster needs to go in before the dash. So I am here. It is almost midnight. It is Friday. It's been a long week as it is, and I am unbolting the dash so I can get that cluster in. It's already been another week since I've been waiting. We were supposed to start it last week, and right before we had everything done pretty much, went to put take tension off of a brand new tensioner I put on last fall. Sorry, yeah, if I look tired, I am tired. So yeah, I went to take tension off that tensioner, brand new tensioner I put on this last fall, snapped right in half. So that took a week to come in, just got that in. Of course, got to put that in. For some reason, the bolts were just a little bit too short. The tensioners for the car just must be a little bit more thick, the one that we got. So of course, I had to go get new bolts. So I've been here all night, getting ready to get this back together and finally start it up, and then realized we have to take the dash out to do the cluster. So yeah, I am here doing that now. Hopefully you're going to see a happy me in a couple of, probably about an hour. It'll be a couple of seconds for you, but an hour for me. Got almost everything out of the dash. I'm gonna lift it up, put the cluster in there, and then I'm gonna bolt it all back down, which is probably stupid. I should probably leave it unbolted. But we're gonna bolt it all back down and throw the battery in and turn the key. What do we have to lose? I've already lost my sanity at this point, so let's just do it. It's June, it's nice outside. I wanna drive this car. The seats still haven't showed up, but I wanna have everything done so when they do show up, I can just plop them in. I'm gonna stop talking. All right, I gotta do this quick because my phone is at 4%. I have taken the dash back out, put the cluster in, put the dash back in. Everything is good to go under here from, well, to my knowledge. So I'm gonna put the key in and I'm gonna see if this thing fires up. Put that right there. All right, get in here. Oh, yeah, seat's really comfortable. Oh, we have static. Another new day, and I'm here leaving the cooling system on the car. Believe it or not, when I got here this morning, the whole car was full of coolant. So I was pretty peed off. I didn't even take the time to record it, but we had to rip the whole top of the engine apart, and I had to replace an O-ring on the heater core line. So at least the dash didn't have to come out because I just took that out again last night. Just had to take apart the top of the intake again and do that. But yeah, the car's been running for about 30 minutes now. It is up to temperature. We're still getting a few bubbles out of the reservoir there, but I'm about ready to go home. I'm gonna call it. The car's running great. And even got some of the interior back in. This guy can take a second to show you around. The only reason why the door cards are not back on is because I'm just waiting to get the speakers back from the audio shop. Those should be done today or tomorrow, actually. So put those two door cards back in. I just have to set the carpet in, and then one piece of trim there, one piece of trim there, and put the glove box back in. And then the inside is done. So again, like I said, I can turn the key, this thing will fire up, run and drive, no problem. But I am still just waiting on those seats to come in. All right, so I feel a whole lot better about this car just now that it is kind of clean. I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it a buff. It's a black car. You pretty much gotta buff these anytime you look at them, especially if you're fussy like me. Just like you see in the light, all the little swirlies, especially probably from having the dust and rubbing up against it. So, got a little bit of water leaking in. Nothing crazy. Mostly, honestly, I think it's from this one piece of rubber I did not change, so I'll probably go ahead and order that, replace that. I ended up replacing this, and that whole piece back across. It seems like it is all dry there. It does leak a little bit when you do open the doors anyway. I'm pretty sure no matter what you do after you wash these cars or it rains, there's a little bit of moisture that drips open when you open it. The driver's side, not looking too bad. A couple of drops, but nothing crazy. So, I don't know. I'll chalk that up as a win. I might be able to make a few adjustments in the top over there and get that to stop leaking too. But, yeah, I am absolutely drenched in sweat. I feel disgusting. But at least my car doesn't look disgusting anymore. I cannot wait to buff this thing. I am already seeing a ton of swirls, but there's no point in doing that right now because it still has to sit in here for probably another week, get a little bit dusty. I will get those seats, put the carpets in, put the seats in, get that interior 100% buttoned up, do a paint correction on this thing, and get those tires put on, and then I am done, and I can actually enjoy this thing for the summer. So I'm gonna cut this little yappy yap here, and we'll bring you back whenever I get those seats. Obviously, the project took a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but that's all in the past. And right now, I've got a pretty nice Corvette to show you guys. I do apologize. There's going to be some content of the rebuild missing. Like I said, I was working full time. Some of the work was happening very, very late in the evenings. Either my phone did not have enough battery to film, or personally, I did not have enough battery to film. I almost lost my shit, or I did lose my shit a couple of times over the process of this. There's just some things that happen that are really frustrating. We had the entire car put back together, the dash all back in, and I noticed we forgot a plug. And where did that plug go? Directly under the middle of the dash. So everything had to come back out. I realized that, I think it was at 1 in the morning one evening. So I honestly don't even remember doing it. In a blacked out rage, I stripped the entire car out again and replugged everything back in and fixed it properly. So that was done. Anyway, fast forward again, a few more weeks later. We're about to fire it up for the first time, let it run, make sure everything's good to go after taking the intake manifold off and sending the injectors out to get cleaned, and et cetera, et cetera. And of course, as we go to take tension off of a brand new tensioner that I had put on last fall, the tensioner snaps in half. And of course, that's a week and a half away for some reason because the Corvette ones are super specific. And anyway, the one we ordered off Amazon was not right. So ordered another one, and that took another 5 days. So anyway, you see how just weeks become months very, very quickly. Another thing that had gone wrong were the seats just took very, very long to come in. And when they did come in, it was car show week. So the company that I had ordered them through, they were too busy to go pick them up at the border. So I ended up driving to the US border to go pick those up. That was super fun. That actually was yesterday. I spent all day yesterday in a car with my high school ex-girlfriend driving to the US border, and I sent her across to go pick them up. Things went kind of smoothly, but we were missing some paperwork that I had to get while she was held at the border. So again, more fun, more stress. But again, after 8 hours of driving, I had my seats. I got back here super late last night, struggled to put them in. Again, my phone was dead. I didn't have a charger here. I wanted to get the seats in, so I am so sorry I did not get that filmed. But the Corbeau seats I went with, super nice. I ended up getting heated option with lumbar option in both seats. I didn't wire the heated seats up yet, so stay tuned. There will be a later video in how to install Corbo heated seats into your C5 Corvette coming up for the probably 2 people that may want to watch that. But yeah, so got those seats installed late last night, took it for a drive. Everything was working good. Parked at home this morning, let it idle for 3 minutes in the driveway. About 5 houses past mine, I seen the charging system warning light come on. So I knew right away. I threw the belt again. So pulled over, popped the hood, noticed we've got a shredded belt. Trying to figure out, I've replaced every pulley. It has a new power steering pump pulley. Everything was good. I spun everything looked great. I was only 5 houses away, so just limped it back home really quick because I didn't have any water pump working and stuff like that, so I really didn't want to drive it far. Got it back home, and I noticed the pulley for the power steering pump that we had replaced was slightly out of alignment. So in my driveway today, we took off I had to take off the alternator, the throttle body, and that bracket for the power steering pump, pull that off, and you have to get a specialty tool to push that in all the way. So I don't know why that wasn't done properly the first time, but things happen, and now it's done properly now, and the car is working great. I drove it back here, and I just did a proper detail on it and gave the paint a polish so it looks good, because obviously all that time working on it, rubbing up against it, there was a few scratches here and there. And at the end of the day, it's a 1998 Corvette with 260,000 kilometers that was completely infested by rodents just last fall. So I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to bring you out, and I'm going to show you what the car looks like now. And honestly, this is still even kind of surreal for me to even look at, because I literally just finished this 10 minutes ago. I am so happy this is not covered in dust, taking up half of my shop anymore. But there it is. So what did I end up doing to this thing? So we stripped the entire interior, did a full deep clean on the chassis. I put sound deadener all in the cabin. I put new tires on the rear to match the new ones that I put on the front. The entire audio system was removed and replaced. Every wire was removed and replaced. Got rid of all that Bose stuff. And we put in all new Kenwood speakers in the front and back. We have a new doubled-in CarPlay unit installed there. New center console. We have WeatherTech mats. Most importantly, we have these beautiful Corbo seats. I did not have visors before. We've got visors in the car now. New shift knob, because the one that was in there before was just not my style. And yeah, I also put new top seals in, and I think I need to do some slight adjustments on the top because I'm still getting a little bit of water coming in here, which is not great, honestly. That was one of the things I really wanted to get eradicated. So in a future video, once I get this all sorted out, I will let you know what I did to do that. So I've already replaced this seal that goes all the way across, and I've replaced the seals on the actual Targa. So the next one I'm gonna do is this seal, and then try a few adjustments. And if that doesn't work, we're gonna probably call a professional, because you can only spend so much time trying to fix something before you throw in the towel. And there is no shame in doing it, as long as you learn from your mistakes and try harder to do it next time. But anyway, I am super stoked. It is a really crappy rainy day outside, so I don't know if I will get to drive this this evening or not, but it's done, it's there, and I can drive it. You guys probably want to hear it, so let me set you guys down, grab the key, and let's fire it up. Alright, so there you guys have it. I finally got the Corvette 98% done, we're going to call it. Because if you know, any good project is never really done. I still have a lot more plans for this thing. I'm going to drive it and enjoy it for probably about a month before I do anything else to it. So don't expect any videos on this thing again soon. The next thing I'm probably going to jump into is that E36 back there, because that is begging me for some attention. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Sorry this video is going to be a little bit choppy, but hope you guys all have a great day.